So good afternoon, everyone. I am Denise Armenio. I'm a certified body code, emotion code, and genius biofeedback practitioner. And I am here on today's Thursday live to help anyone that is new to the genius or just starting to work with the genius on how to navigate a little bit of a training, and then also to do a demo scan on someone who is willing to volunteer. And so I see a few people in here that have never volunteered before. Barbara, did you want to volunteer today?
You would need to unmute, Barbara, if you're there.
Or you can put a thumbs up if you want to volunteer. Oh, and hi, Maria. Hello, hello. Barbara, I don't know if you are away from your, okay. Is there anyone else that wants to volunteer? Maria, do you want to volunteer? Is that why you gave the thumbs up? Okay, I would love to have you volunteer. I just wanted to check in with Deborah for a minute. I know that she was our volunteer last week. And Deborah, I just wanted to hear how you were doing. How have you been feeling? And
that was really helpful. We're on our third snowstorm, so I've been using the Genius because the snow's been kind of heavy. But yeah, that was very timely and helpful, and I'm amazed at how well I've been doing. So
oh, that's so amazing. I'm so happy. And I know that you just sent me an email. I didn't forget about you. I've been really swamped this week. So
no problem.
But you did set a time with me, so we have that. I think that's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, let's just get back. I want to thank you for checking in. I so appreciate it. And Deborah, if you could just mute yourself now, and Maria, if you want to unmute yourself, that would be great.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
Do you have a video that you want to turn on?
Sure, I'm just going to get into a good space.
I love your picture, by the way.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing the basement here, so it's like not finished, but here, I'm going to
That's okay. I just want to use it. So let me use my phone actually to take the picture, because I've had some difficulty with the trackpad on my. Okay. Hopefully that will work now when we get to it. So if you wanted to go back, you can. But first, I just wanted to hear from you. So what kind of things would you like to work on today? Do you have any physical pain or any emotional pain that you would like to work with?
I don't really have any pain. What would it be? Maybe more weight loss.
Okay, we can look at those libraries. I'm trying to look at something because this is a demonstration, and to see if we can find a measurable difference like at the end of the session. So
okay,
I want to be able to help.
Okay, so then whatever you think is good. I don't know.
Well, how would you rate yourself like on how you're feeling on 0 to 10, 0 being blah, 10 being amazing? How do you feel today?
I feel good. I have to admit, I do feel good.
Okay. Okay. So I will see what comes up, and who knows, maybe you will feel some shifts or something that comes up for you. Okay. So I am you're welcome. I am going to share my screen now. Okay. And let me sorry, my Zoom controls are like covering my screen. Okay, so I'm just typing in your name here. Can you just spell your last name for me?
It's CHIARLITTI.
Is that right?
Yes.
Excellent. And your birth date?
April 21st, 1974.
Perfect. And have you been using the Genius for a while, or are you a new user, or?
Yes, I've been using it for a while.
Okay, great. So most of this, but if you have a question, feel free to ask, and we'll help answer that for you. So now for anybody that is new, now that I've entered her full name, her birth date, I've filled in the gender here, but this really is just for whatever graphics are going to show up. So the gender part does not affect the scan whatsoever. I am just going to hit continue with new analysis down on the bottom. Okay, and this user record screen, this is really just for the practitioner where they can take notes on what they did in that session, or you can, it's kind of cumulative, so you can date it and say what you worked on each particular day, so you have some sort of record for it. I'm not going to fill this out. This form does not have anything to do with the scan. So anyway, I'm just going to hit begin here. Okay, so now is where we want to have Maria give a voice scan, a voice analysis. So Maria, in a minute, I'll count you down. I'll say 3, 2, 1, begin. And you can say your full name and then repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15-second counter gets to 0.
Okay.
But just before we start that, I just wanted to point out what this here, it says import client voice picture, a capsule import. This is where you would go if your client is uploading their voice and their picture to the quantum capsule from their device. They would, if they've already done that, then I would click here and that information would be automatically populated to this screen and the next one. Maria, you have not done that, so I am not going to do anything there, but I just wanted to point that out to anybody who is using quanta capsules or looking to start using them with their clients. This is where you would go to populate that information. So now back to the voice. Maria, I'm just going to count you down now. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Maria Chiarliti, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U.
Perfect. Thank you. So now after we take the voice, we can then go to the bottom of the screen on the left where it says voice harmonics, and we press on this. This will actually play back the translated version of what you just spoke into the Genius. So this will be the frequencies of your voice. I recommend that you listen to it. It is a homeopathic, so it will have some healing qualities to it for you. So I'm just going to play that back right now. Okay, so now the next step is to hit next. So that is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to hit continue. Okay, so we can try this, but like I said, I've been having issues with my trackpad, so we'll see what happens when, well, actually, I'm just going to take a picture. And hold on. Okay, So now I can use this photo, and there we go. So now I'm just going to click begin analysis here. And again, just following the prompts, it's very intuitive. Just hit continue. And so now the first thing it's asking is an energetic affirmation for entrainment. And it's asking if you would like to do that. I always fill this part in, although it's not necessary. It is a nice little added touch. And this is where you can either type in an affirmation that you are currently working on for the day or the week or the month. If you don't have a particular one that you wanted to use, the one I usually always use is all energies are transmuted into the frequency of love.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay, great. And I just add, and so it's okay. And so what happens here is just like the genius translated your spoken voice into a frequency, it also translates this typed affirmation into a frequency, and that frequency will be overlaid as we run frequencies throughout this session or demo. So I'm just going to hit OK here. And before I run the analysis down at the bottom, I'm just going to go to the back office, and we do that by clicking on these 3 navigation bars up at the top. And I'm going to do this so I could add my libraries as well to this session. So I'm just going to, on the bottom, it says add to client, and I'm going to select that, and I'm just going to select all. You could be more specific if you didn't want to add all those libraries, but I just like having them all available. I need to go back in because I also want to add my master branch libraries. And in order to make sure you get to them, you now need to select master branch down at the bottom and then add to client. And again, select all and OK. So now that we've added the libraries, you can see that the banner at the bottom has added custom libraries. So the 3 categories that come in the built in with the Genius, the categories are body, biofield, and mind. And then they have, once we do the analysis, you will see the different panels or libraries that are contained with each of those categories. So I'm just going to hit begin analysis now down on the bottom. Okay, so now the Genius what happens here is it's used its algorithms, and it's determined that the mind for you, Maria, is what is the priority to work on. That's where it's finding the most energetic disturbance. Then it goes to body, biofield, and custom libraries. So that you just may want to, keep in the back of your head that the mind was an area of, importance to work on. Before I do anything, I just want to go to your aura, which is down in biofield. And as you can see, it says aura here. And if you click on the line, it brings up your avatar with the picture that we just took. And I'm going to hit begin analysis, and that will give us our pre-session aura picture. Okay, so in your picture, love to see this bright green, healing green in here, also heart chakra. And then we see some blue in there. That would be your throat chakra. And then you can see that these other outer rings are really pale and a little muddy. I would also say that there's a little bit of darkness in between the green and the blue here. So those are would indicate to me that there's some stagnant energy and or some interference. That interference could come in the form of like EMFs, or you may want to look at the spiritual protection library, because sometimes that can cause interference. But I do like to see that this the bright green here in the center, and the hope is that the other colors will come in green. Will come in and be bright and vibrant. And it is the colors of the chakras, the 7 chakras, that we will see that are come out in these auras. So now we can just go back. And the first thing I like to do when working on someone is I like to prime their body with specific frequencies that help them to be able to receive frequencies more efficiently. And if I have a specific library I'm going to use, but if you don't have my priming vessel library, I would suggest working with all the items in the biofield, and then you could add the vitamins, the amino acids, and the minerals. So that will help give you the same or a similar benefit. Okay, so now that we're in all the libraries, I just need to hit begin analysis here. Okay, so now I can hit this little black in the center up arrow, and that brings me to the search function. So library is highlighted in blue. That means I'm searching through my libraries. And then if I just go to like this magnifying glass, I can type in the library I want, and it is in bioterrain, and it's right here. It is the vessel priming frequencies. So I'm going to add all of the frequencies from this library. There are 156. And I can do that by going down to this crossbar or plus button down at the bottom left. And I'm just going to add the red items, yellow, green, and blue. So you can see down at the bottom, it says 156. And now all the way to the right, there's like a play button. I'm going to press that. And again, this brings us to the progressive insight chart. This is a great way to do a balance, and one of the most powerful ways to do a balance. And that's because we're going to hit analysis here, but this is where the genius uses algorithms to see the relationship between all the items in this main whole tray, and then it reorders on the priority. So Maria, for you, what's coming up here is your lumbar 1. You have the small intestine meridian, C4, C5, some fractals. So these are some things wanting to work on. We could go all the way down to the bottom, and you can see that the items that are showing up down here right now are low priority. Now the low, medium, highs will shift as we run some of these frequencies. But at first, I'm going to run them all for 1 minute. Here's the toggle for the timer for this tray, and I'm just going to hit play. I always mention, but just want to remind everybody, it's really important to drink water during these sessions, before, during, after. Okay, so what's showing up here is that your average percent rectification is a 24%. We'd like to see like 40% and above. So 24% isn't horrible, but we would like to see it a little higher. For demonstration purposes, I may not be able to run it as long right now, but I do want to rescan, and to do that, you can see rescan at the top right corner. And then I'm just going to run the highs. So I'm just going to go over and hover over high and click it, and that clears everything to the left. And then when I click it again, it will just check off the items that are high. And I'm going to run just the highs for 1 minute. And also, yes, you can purchase this library that I'm using. It is part of the bioterrain package. And you can email me and I can send you the link, or it is on Inside Health Apps. And we can send you the direct link for that if you're interested in it. Okay, great. So here the Genius is even telling you that you responded well to the session. You had a 42% rectification. So that is really good. And the harmony, alignment, and energy flow, there is a little bit of a range in here, but it's about, I'd like to see it stay within like 20% or less, or 20 points and less. So we're close to that. So I am going to back arrow now out of here. And I'm going to clear the tray here. And I just have a question here from Margaret, and she's asking, how long would you run the Progressive Insights if you were doing a regular session of the Bioterrain Libraries minutes? That's going to vary depending on each individual client. I would always start on running all of the frequencies for 1 minute and gauge, what your percent rectification is from there. I would like to see 40%. So usually I use the model of doing alls twice for 1 minute and then highs for 3 minutes. But if you're not getting a high rectification, you might want to change the highs and go a little longer than that. I hope that helps, Margaret. Okay, so now after we run that and I've cleared that, the next thing I'd like to do is, oh, well, I just realized I didn't talk about the numbers on the side. So let's just do that for 1 moment here before I get distracted. The Genius uses a numerical value system from 0 to 777. The range 0 to 100 is represented by the color blue. And that's observed to be chronic energetic disturbance. So anything that's in this lower range, 0 to 100 or blue, is going to be you've had an energetic disturbance here for for a longer period of time. It can also be referred to as stagnant energy. Then after that, we go to this green range, and that's the value system goes from 101 to 450. And then we go from 451 to 688, and that is represented by the color yellow. And then at 689 to 777, that is represented by the color red. And these items in this range are observed to be more acute energetic disturbances. So they are out of balance more in the present time. It is important to work with these because if you don't clear them, they can end up being more chronic energetic disturbances. And what happens is anything, if it's in our energy field for too long of a time, could then start affecting our physical body. So, red is very important to clear on a daily maintenance basis so that they don't become more physical issues. So really when you're clearing, it would be normal to see blues turn to red. They can go to yellow or green, but it would be a natural progression to go from blue to red and then hopefully green somewhere in between. Now, when we're working on and we're focusing on a specific area, we do tend to work with items that are 600 and above, which will include some yellows, as well as 200 and below, which is going to include some greens. And the reason that we do that is because of the functionality of the main hold tray, because of the algorithms that the Genius looks at the items in relationship to each other. Some of these items that are on the border may change to become high priority, and we don't want to miss anything. So that is why we brought in the range there a little bit. But it's okay if you want to add all the items. And oftentimes I do, like when I just did the vessel priming, I added all the items. And specifically because when the Genius looks at the relationship to them, some of those yellows and greens may become a high priority. And since we want to make sure that your body is sufficiently prepared to receive the frequencies, I didn't want to miss anything. The other thing just important to note is these little arrows down on the right. Those just are indicators that there is more information, that you can go a little deeper. So in other words, you can either click on the arrow itself and it will show you right here what the items are in this panel or library called chemical sensitivities. So I don't know, it has about 2, 4, maybe 10 items in there. The magnifying glass will give you a brief description of what it is. Formaldehyde causes an allergic reaction, fatigue, headache, or wheezing. So it could be, now that's coming up as a 755, which would be represented by red. So that could just, it's possible you got your nails done and there were formaldehyde and it's just out of balance for today. And that's why it's showing up. Or, you could have just been in contact with that. Now, the other thing that you can also do is if when you could close that arrow and click on the yellow line, and then you see it displayed differently. You still have the little search functions on the side where you could get a little bit of a definition, but visually you have it laid out differently because you can see your reds, yellows, greens, and blues. So now that I'm back to the main system overview page, the next thing I like to do is click on the system overview, and it is going to bring us to the general overview. And this is one of my favorite places in the Genius because it pulls in all the items from that main system overview page and all of my libraries. And I have about 2,000 libraries, and it will order all of the line items from high to low, so you can really see what's affecting you on a chronic basis and what is affecting you now, today, presently, and to work with those, because a lot of times anything can cause anything. So although we may not know what may be causing, if you want to lose weight, maybe there are some items that are making it harder for you to lose weight. I mean, we didn't really have that conversation. But that is the potentiality of something that could occur. So after we have all these items here, because I have so many libraries, if I were to do a quick balance, I mean, I would probably be running like an obscene, like 50,000 or plus items. So I don't want to do that. That would be too many to, just subject your energy body to. So I will just click on the plus sign, and it gives me the option to add the top 50 and the bottom 50. And also, because there are so many here, I would need to scroll a long time to get to the bottom. So up at the top, you can see it says 0 to 100. If I click on that, now I can just see the items that have been out of balance for a more chronic period of time. So we can see some, the water element, and it has to do with the kidneys. We have this black goo antimatter, and it's just kind of like tar or negative energies that are maybe blocking your chakra. We can see balance of blood sugar. So a whole bunch of different items that are in here. The next thing I'd like to do after I add those hundreds is remove the libraries. So I can click remove libraries. And now I just have all the items in numerical order that are from the system overview page. And so I'm going to do the same thing by adding the top 50 and the bottom 50. So now we have a total of 200 items in the main hold tray, and I'm going to go back and hit play, and we can analyze these in the progressive insights. Okay, and again, I will follow the same kind of protocol. I will select all and hit play for 1 minute. Okay, so here we have a rectification of 19%. Again, here, if this was a regular session, I would run this longer to try to get that up higher. But because I also want to run the highs here, we may have the opportunity to get that up a little bit higher. So I'm going to rescan. And now I'm going to select the highs. And the highs, the lung meridian is showing up, harmony, air quality. Now, interestingly, air quality, right, with your lung meridian showing up. I don't know if you have any respiratory issues or maybe allergies, or maybe you've recently had some respiratory infection. We can, okay, so you do have allergies. Are they respiratory? How are you, what are your symptoms when you have your allergies?
So for me, it's allergies with the nose, so respiratory, and also if I say asthma, a little bit of asthma too. I forgot about that stuff, but yeah.
Okay, so I mean, here it is actually coming
Yeah.
right up and telling you, and picking that up as something that is a priority for you to work on. So I'm just going to select and run these for 1 minute. Okay, so now the Genius is telling us that you did respond well. You have a 43% rectification, and that's great. I'm really happy with that. Now, you could always, if this wasn't a demo, you could rescan it again and see what comes up and work with that a little bit. But for the purposes of the demo, I'm going to go back now. And I'm going to go back to the system overview. I am going to clear. So I just hit this up arrow to the right next to the main hold tray, and I'm just going to hit clear all. And then we can close that. So now the next thing I'd like to do is just to get an idea of what's going on with you. We can look at today's stress. So today's stress is showing heavy metal toxicity, some fungus. And then we see bacteria, virus, nutritional. I'm going to select all the blues and reds. And I'm doing this also because we didn't really get any clear direction on where to go in the intake since you were feeling good. So let's just work with what's showing up for you today. And we have some, I'm going to add all the items that are below 200. And then I'm going to add all the items 600 and above. Okay, the other thing I like to look at after we do that is digestion. Digestion is always a big piece. So I'm going to add everything in digestion. So we're going to add our reds, our yellows, and our greens. And how nice that you don't have anything blue here. So that is a good indicator. We can also look at, let's just look at your minerals here, although we've worked with them already. We worked with them when we used the priming library, and also these would have showed up in the general overview, but they probably wouldn't have been in the top 50. So I am going to add them here. And we can add the manganese and the zinc as well. And at the bottom, we can add the blue items. Lithium is usually one that I would say always add. It really shows up a lot when working with emotions. And let's just see what body systems are coming up for you. There aren't any red, and in fact, the highest value is 479, so that's great. But then at the bottom where we see more chronic issues, we see circulatory, urinary, digestive is coming up here, and skeletal. Now, does that make any sense to you? Do you feel like there is anything in this area that you can relate with? Maybe, maybe not. Are you there? Okay, well, I don't know if you stepped away for a moment because I can't see you because you don't have your camera on.
Not really with
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not, it's a little bit garbled, so maybe your internet, your signal is a little low. I'm going to go into Sveggio tones, and I'm going to add 528, which is down here. And I always like to add that one. It has to do with DNA repair and transformation and miracles. And I also want to work with your neurotransmitters. I'm going to add all of them. And for the Bach flower essences, we can add the reds and the blues in here. And I also want to look at your emotions. So I am going to add the reds and the blues. The next thing I'm going to do is then go into, I also want to add, theta, because theta is really good to help prime and make sure you're receptive to taking in frequencies. So, and I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, I don't know why it was a little bit garbled. But so from here, I'm going to go into the custom libraries. And we can look at what came up. Now, the first thing that's coming up here is something from the bioterrain, and it's bacteria. But again, red is showing up because it's currently, it's a present issue. We can also look and see what's on a more chronic, and a candida is showing up here. So, and we have weight release 10 amino acid. So I think we have a great starting point, especially because you talked about weight and this is showing up as more chronic. So let's work with that and the candida. And also because we are trying to tie in with Dr. Deb's Health Safari, we can also look at your brain as well. So I'm just going to go to the weight loss here, and let's just add all these items. Red, the yellow, the blue, and I guess the green too. And we can look at the candida solutions. Let's add these blue ones. And these again are solutions, so I tend to like to add them all because if you need them, they are helpful. And what else did I see in here for you that would help? I'm going to go into this felt, these items help to release fat. And then finally, let's just go into the brain and optimizing brain function is a library I like to use. And we can add all of these items in here for the brain function. Okay, so we have 227 items. I don't really love to go too far over 200, so we can work with these. And I'm just going to hit begin analysis. Okay, so we have some worry, epinephrine in here, but because we're working on the brain, we can just see, let's just take a quick look and see what this brain area is responsible for, if it makes any sense to us. Is it? So this area is the modulator of the thalamus. It receives inputs from the cortex and the dorsal media thalamus. And at nighttime, it can send out GABA. And it could help with drowsiness so that sleep can happen. So just curious, do you have any sleep issues? Maria, I didn't know.
Sometimes.
So, I mean, I don't know, that could have something to do with it. The ventral anterior helps with movement, and the posterior, let's just see what that says on here. And again, like motivation. So those are just 3 things that came up. I'm going to select all and hit play for all these. Okay, so you have a 20% rectification. I'm going to run them all again. So I'm just going to rescan to see if things are. It's going to float a little bit to the top here, and select all and run these again. Whoops. And then we'll run the highs for 3 minutes. So here now you've had amazing 60% rectification. So that's awesome. I'm going to rescan and then we'll just run the highs for 3 minutes. So I'm just going to move the timer up top to 3 minutes, click on high, and then once more. So it give the checks and we can hit that. So I don't know if you can hear me, but just the area of the brain on the top, that is a small area in the hypothalamus that is responsible for circadian rhythms. So just an FYI in there. You're welcome. Okay, so you have an 18% rectification. If this wasn't a demo, I would run this again longer, but we're right at 3 o'clock and I do have another session at 3 o'clock. So I can't really go too far over, but let's just go and look and see what your aura looks like now. What kind of change there are. We are working with a lot of brain air regions, so it's possible it looks a little bit maybe not look as good, but who knows? We'll see. So that actually is looking really great. The center is so bright. We're seeing some purples coming in here and and this bright pink. We do have this, this gray area and this reddish area on the outside. I would like to see that a little bit better, but overall, I am liking what I see. And what I would like to do here for you for just 1 minute is I'm just going to click on the neurotransmitters. Actually, I'm going to add just the neurotransmitters here to the quick zap, and I'm going to run them for just, I'm going to put it on 0 and let's run that for like 30 seconds. And thank you, Margaret. Okay, so let's just close this and now we can just see how it affected your aura, just running those. Okay, so we changed the brightness in the center is turning to more green. That green could become more vibrant, but it is a little bit of a balancing act. We do want to kind of focus more on here, but anyway, I do need to get going. It is 3 o'clock, but Maria, if you wanted to just get on for unmute for a minute, how are you feeling? Are you feeling any shifts? No change? Just, I'm always curious to see what's
Oh, I'm feeling good. Yeah, thank you. I do feel a shift.
Well, good. I hope you're
Yes.
feeling good. Continue to drink more water and stay hydrated. And everyone else, thank you so much. Oh, also, I just wanted to let everyone know, keep checking Mighty Networks in events. I'm going to be helping Laura Cardwell with a launch party on February 1st. So check it out. In Mighty Networks on events and register. So anyway, everyone have a great weekend and I will see you next week and bye for now.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And I'm just, if everybody, I think this is my next person coming in.
Thank you so much. You're always, as always, great. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right. I am going to end this. And I think the new person coming in is my next person. So thanks so much, everyone. See you next week.